Hello, one Paul here. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys a strategy for the stock market. Particularly, we're going to be looking at the S&P 500, but I want to cover this both by doing it with, SPY. I'm doing it on Robinhood, and there'll be another video. I'll teach you guys how to do this for Forex with the S&P, but it's basically... It's using a two-step process. You're going to use 3 moving averages, and the other one is we got to use the difference of 2 moving averages for the next one. So we use these together, and we focus on a longer time frame. This is not a strategy to focus on smaller time frames. It's more for longer time frames. So if you want to use a strategy, I would focus on the hour or the 30-minute. That would be the smallest amount, or the 15. But mainly I would focus on 30-minute to an hour. You want to get the best results. And if you go down in time frames, you might enter into more consolidation and sideways movement. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to do this with the S&P with using SPY. This video is more geared towards those that doing it on Robinhood and Webull. And I'll go over how to do this in Forex. But this is mainly for those that want to do it on SPY, on Robinhood. But anyway, I'll show you how to set it up. You'll need 3 moving averages. You also need your difference of 2 moving averages. Okay, for this video, we're going to be looking at SPY on... We'll look at it on the hour, and then we'll look at it a couple time frames, but mainly we want to look at the day and the hour. Basically, first thing we want to do is we want to set up with the indicators here. So the first thing you're going to need to do is set up these 3 moving averages. You want to set up here. If you go to your settings and you go to three smooth moving averages, and you want to set your settings to 9, 21, and 50. The 50, in my opinion, should be more thick because the 50 is mainly used to show the overall direction. So, and I would make these colors pretty bright, stand out. But basically make the 50 bright and make it stand out. The 50, which right here on mine here, is the yellow line. The other 2 is the 9 and the 21. So basically, you have those moving averages, and then you want to set up your difference of 2 moving averages. So you go here to your settings, you punch in difference of 2 moving averages, and you want to change your settings. You want to change it to 13 and 24, and it'll look like this. So basically, once you have all this set up, you're basically set up with this strategy. So basically what you want to do, there's 2 ways of actually looking for good signals here. You want to look for the moment when everything is basically crossing each other, basically. So first off, let's look at the day. And we basically want to look for crosses when the lines are crossing each other. So when the lines are crossing each other, so we want to check on the day real quick. And we want to backtrack on the last time all these moving averages crossed each other, which has been a while. So it crossed right here. We see that they all crossed up right here, which was on November 13th. And if you manage to catch that on November 13th, now while we're on the day, I'm going to show you a couple strategies here. So if you see this crossing on the day, you could have come in on different moments. You see the moving averages cross here, but you also see it crossing up on the 0 line. So you could have basically rode this, and well, if you're doing it on SPY, you're not going to be able to ride this entire way. The contracts would be too expensive. So unless you're doing this in Forex, you're not going to be making all these massive profits here. So if you do manage to see this on the day chart, if you saw this, you might have been able to catch this for maybe a week. Let's see, if you came in right here, right when it crossed, you rode this out for about a week. Right about here, you would have made about $1,500 right there. $1,574 right there for one contract. So on the day, and this is why we use the difference of two moving averages, we now know that the overall direction is up. Now, that depends on what happens to the market right here. If it ends up crossing down on the day, we'll be entering into a downtrend. But right now, currently, we are still in a uptrend. So the direction of up is the direction that we should be focusing on. So looking at the day chart, there's not going to be another cross. There's not going to be another cross. So the next thing you want to do, if you want to do this on the day and, take advantage of the majority of your gains here, is you want to come in every time it shifts from, a light green, goes down to a dark green, and then you want to come back in when it comes back to a light green. So we see another moment right here. So you could have rode this one out for a couple days. If you missed this cross right here, you could have come in right here, and you could have rode this out. This would have been some profit. Well, this was 11 days, 6 days. You would have made $1,300 there. You could have rode it out. You could have rode a brief one out here for 3 days. Could have rode this one out. This one would have been $832. And then you could have rode this one out right here. This one would have been another $1,300. And, it gives you basically good entry points. But I would also be careful because you want to enter after it's turned dark green to a light green, because you don't want to catch it on the moment where it goes down. But it's basically an uptrend. So since we know that the overall direction is going up, so if you focusing on the day and doing it on the day, if you miss it down here where it first crossed, you'd have to wait a while, or you'd have to scalp it on the day. So we know the direction right now is up, so that would be the direction to focus on. So if we go down to a smaller time frame, let's go to an hour. Now we know the overall direction is going up, so that's still the direction that we want to focus on. So what we want to do is we want to look for the moving averages to cross. All the moments where the moving averages are crossing, we see a moment right here, we see a cross, so you could have rode this one out. So we see all the moving averages crossing right here from about here. You could have entered here and rode this out with judging it by the moving averages. Or you could look on your difference of two moving averages and get in when it crosses up on the zero line, which you see a moment right here. You see a moment right here. You could have come in on this one, and you basically can scalp it. So you can look for moments when it's crossing up on the zero line, or you can look for moments when the moving averages are crossing. So with the moving averages are crossing, you have a moment right here, and goes down. Let's just go back a little. So you will have to wait a while to see these signals, but it should be worth the wait. Now think of it when you do when you're doing it on the hour, it would take a lot to get these lines to change direction. So when they do cross, it's usually a good trade, but you still got to be careful. So anyway, let's go and check this one. We see it cross right here. You could have entered here. You see it also crossing up on the zero line. So right about here, ride it all the way to the top. This is a 5-day move, and you would have made some pretty good profit right here. So start off by the day chart, find the overall direction, then go to your smaller time frame. Now, personally, I would go to the only the hour or the 30-minute. I would not do this on a smaller time frame, because if you look at it on a smaller time frame, we know that the direction is up, but you could end up getting into consolidation periods. You see where, there's moments where it moves pretty sideways, so I would definitely go for a longer time frame. But you see the same thing here. If you want to do a smaller time frame, you can, but you will enter more, moments like this. So you just got to be careful. And the overall trend's going up, so you can go here to here for more of an intraday if you want to do that. But personally, I would check on the day first. Check on the day first to get the overall trend, and then if you miss any of it, if you miss it from the original cross, you can go to your difference in moving averages here and scalp it. And if you miss anything from here, next thing I would do is I would go to your hour chart and find crosses on the direction on the hour. So this is not an intraday strategy. This is more of, when you find it, it should lead to some pretty good results. But this is not an intraday strategy. This is meant for holding for a couple days at least, when you do find the signal. So you got to wait for these moving averages to cross, or to cross the difference of two moving averages. But other than that, this is a pretty effective strategy. So because we're dealing with SPY, and I'm doing it on Robinhood, and you're limited to your time to be in that trade, I look at it on the day chart. I'd find the moment where it crossed, and right now it has been in an uptrend, unless those cross down in the next couple days. If it crosses down in the next couple days, we're headed into a downtrend, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to turn around. But you look at it on the day, and if you miss the cross on the day, you go to your difference of two moving averages and find little scalping moments when it's dark green and it goes into a light green. Those are scalp moments. And if you miss any of that, then go down to a smaller time frame. I recommend hour to 30-minute. Those are the lowest points that I'll go for trades. And again, even when you go to the hour, you have to wait for all the moving averages to cross, and for the difference of two moving averages to go above the zero line if you're doing an uptrend, or go below the zero line if you're doing a downtrend. And you have to wait for the bars to go from, for uptrend, you have to wait for dark green to go to light green. If you're in a downtrend, you have to wait for dark red to go to a light red. But anyway, if you guys like the strategy, it's mainly for people that want to trade SPY on Robinhood or Webull on the contract basis. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to do this trade SPY on Forex, which you basically can write it out for longer. But I'll show you how to do it on Forex. But anyway, you guys like the strategy, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.